Mercury-containing vaccines may help, not harm kids, according to 2 new studies in the journal Pediatrics. There have been widespread concerns that mercury-based preservatives in vaccines might impair the neurological development of children. These new studies suggest that the opposite, that the preservatives may actually be associated with improved behavior and mental performance.
That's another interesting point, because a lot of people like to say scaremonger about China, right? A lot of politicians, and I know you talk about that issue all the time. I think people should be careful what they wish for on China. You know, if China were to revalue its currency, or China is to start making, say, toys that don't have lead in them or food that isn't poisonous, their costs of production are going to go up, and that means prices at Walmart here in the United States are going to go up too. So I would say China is our greatest friend right now. They're keeping prices low, and they're keeping prices from mortgages.
The Communist Party in China continues to lie about the safety of melamine, the toxic substance responsible for the contaminated milk, according to an article by the Epoch Times newspaper. A Chinese state-run media website, people.com.cn, says Chinese authorities, along with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, conducted, quote, scientific evaluations on the safety margin of melamine. It suggested that melamine was less dangerous than public reports had claimed. However, a Food and Drug Administration spokesperson told the Epoch Times that it had never published any information on the safety margin of melamine. The FDA continues to warn consumers not to purchase any infant formula milk powder from China.
I think people should be careful what they wish for on China.
Up next, we have a series of interviews with survivors of the Sichuan earthquake that hit on May 12th. Victims have told NTD reporters that not only are many of them still living without adequate housing, some were even given melamine-poisoned milk powder in their relief supplies.
Victims of the Sichuan earthquake say the Nanshan milk powder they were given in relief supplies was found to have melamine contained in it. Relief supplies were checked by the Chinese General Administration of Quality Supervision Inspection and found to have traces of the toxin. Similarly, in Longnan City of Gansu Province, 20 survivors have claimed to have developed kidney stones linked to consuming the toxin.
There is some milk powder, the Nanshan milk powder, which is toxic, and it is being given here. I heard that more than 20 people drank it and then were tested to have kidney stones.
It isn't poisonous. Their costs of production are going to go up, and that means prices at Walmart here in the United States are going to go up too.
Melamine in the U.S. Yes, the chemical melamine has now been found in a brand of cream-filled cookies from China.
So I would say China is our greatest friend right now. They're keeping prices low, and they're keeping prices from mortgages.
Now we know even people that don't have high cholesterol might benefit?
Yes, we do, according to the New England Journal of Medicine.
Is this Crestor? Or what is it?
Crestor. And experts think that this could prevent tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of heart attacks in the U.S. a year, and as a side benefit, possibly help the bottom line of at least one major drug maker.
So the only way they could imagine doing this was to create a new type of celebrant class while they were eradicating the old. And that is why, since the beginning of the 1900s to the present, they put so much of our tax money into doing genetic research to create a new type of perfected slave that will give them no trouble while they kill off the remaining types of the old stock.
You've told the story, many other medical doctors I've had on the show have told the story, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, like Dr. Monteith, he's been a doctor for 50 years, about a child with cancer when he was going to medical school 45, 50 years ago was like finding a leprechaun or a unicorn. I mean, it was like finding, it didn't exist. And now, just dead kids with brain tumors, left, right, all around us. Everything, the cell phones, the plastics, all by design. And, of course, you've told the similar story. Explain to people what's happening, briefly.
What's happening is that the life expectancy of children born in the year 2000 and thereafter is dropping. So that for the first time in human history, we can expect that a child born in 2000 or thereafter will die before its parents on average, because the food is contaminated, because children are given cell phones, because cell towers are blasting us, and we've allowed that to happen, because our food contains genetically modified organisms unless we grow our own or eat totally organic or biodynamic food, because the plastics that we feed children water and milk and juice from, and God help us, Coca-Cola from, contain substances that dysregulate the entire endocrine system.
Well, that's the next issue. I mean, they just come out now and say that melamine is now not bad for you, and it's at 90% of the baby formula, Associated Press, and they admit, yeah, Coca-Cola's got pesticide in it, but the pesticide's good for you.
Pesticide is great for you. And on mainstream TV, we see a clip that says that mercury may actually promote behavioral competence and increase the IQ. This is one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. So lies are the order of the day. We live in the Orwellian world of truth disguised as lies and lies disguised as truth. And if it weren't for people like you, Alex, and I hope for people like us, the reality would simply not be available to us. On one day, the FDA said that melamine has no safe level. It is not possible to have a safe level of melamine. The next day, melamine has been set at 1 part per million with no science, no testing, no safety assurance. But hey,
just like fluoride, and to cover it up, like they did with fluoride leakage, killing people all over Tennessee is how it all started. They may just start adding it, saying it's a nutrient we've got to have. On national news, they're recommending adding statins forcibly to all the water. Did you see that, Doctor?
I missed that one, but I'll tell you what. Giving statins to children, quote, protectively, is beyond anything the Germans did, beyond anything these people did, even during the days of their Axion 4 program, where they were killing German children starting at 0 and going to 17 and then adding in the rest of the population because they wanted to purify the German race when they had defective Germans. What we're doing now is worse than anything that the Nazis
It's
did.
Hellraiser. Hellraiser is going on all around you, or like something out of Event Horizon. That literally a mind like that is running things, and it's all systematically ambient background tyranny has just been slowly turned up like the frog in the pot, and now they're just savagely pounding us. Just bam, bam. Unbelievable.
That is absolutely correct. I wish I could disagree with you and say that you're an alarmist, Alex, or that you're misinterpreting information, or that you're exaggerating. Unfortunately, I believe that you are saying things exactly as they are.
But it's like I'm so busy trying to warn other people that don't know that, you know, as we save people, for every person we save, we lose 1,000. And so I'm just so focused on all the carnage and destruction I see and all the horrible things I see happening to humanity that, I mean, I can't go eat fajitas and enjoy myself without feeling guilty for even enjoying myself. I don't know how to explain it. I can't even take off and go see a movie now because all I'm thinking about is the New World Order and all the stuff they're doing and how my going to a movie normalizes all of this. You know, we should be in the streets freaking out, pulling our hair out, but they just incrementally turn the tyranny up to where, you know, even I am acting insane. This is an insanely calm response to what they're doing. I mean, it's bad that they're putting fluoride in the water, and they knew it gave people cancer and attacked their glands and reduced their IQ by 20 points on average. I mean, that right there is mind-blowing. And now they're saying, yeah, melamine's good for you, mercury's good for you. Well, we used to say it was poison, but now it's good. Oh, you're dying. Good, dying is good. It's psych warfare. They're just throwing everything in our... And, you know, I can go read all the behavioral psychologists and psychiatrists and study it, and everything from Freud to Jung to Bernays right through to the modern stuff, and they are practicing just savage. It's an art form, combinations of all these different psychological schools and brainwashing techniques and TV and neuro-linguistic programming and just subliminals, just targeting, just blasting people.